Welcome back. It is Friday, May 19th, and the MLB. Our three favorite picks are on the way. I'm Austin, joined by Logan. Let's recap yesterday. I won in one day. That's not going to kill our bankroll. The Guardians clutch up for me. Give me that plus a half in the first five. I ended up winning that game outright. Then Dodgers, Cardinals under 8.5. That felt like a first five line for you, Logan. Not much you can really do there. Urias and it's just a comical one. You can't do anything about that. You'd rather lose with the team scoring 100 runs than lose with them on the hook. So either way, we didn't have a Nrfi yesterday, but we do have three of them today. If you want to check out our parlay of the day, it includes three Nrfis. One of them will be our official play that we'll talk about at the end of this video. And we haven't actually talked about this one, but new users in New Jersey, listen up. We have UniBet, and we have an offer with our Dimers friends. If you sign up using our top link in the description, make a $25 bet on anything, you get $100 in site credits. It's a top link in the description right below that parlay of the day. If you want to check it out, all the details are down below. I think it's only applicable in New Jersey. But Logan, I don't want to guarantee this, but I would bet the Cardinals and Dodgers do go under 8.5 today. I know that's not your official pick, though. What you got for the people today, though?
Screw over-unders after last night. I'm sorry, guys. That one's on me. Woof. But we're going to a game pick in this one. I'm taking the Rockies plus 1.5 on the run line. Currently plus 100 odds on BetMGM is your best value in there. Now, this, guys, might be my sharpest play of the year so far. Tail only if you're brave enough. If you're going to not be brave and you're not going to trust me, then don't tail it. I'm tired of people doubting me in the comments. Just don't tail if you're not sharp, because we're being very sharp on this one, right? There are two run lines on the slate today going up and down it that look like absolute traps today. The Rangers and the Astros. I'd be so shocked if a square parlay of both of those minus 1.5 run lines hit today, because they're both home teams. They're both facing inferior teams. Yeah, I mean, that's not how baseball works. Every square and their mother will have both of those games in their parlays. I would be shocked if it hits, right? Now, who's starting for the Rockies? Carl Kaufman, right? Who? I had to look him up. I hate when I have to Google search a pitcher because Kaufman is making his first start in the MLB. I looked at his minor league stats, and they're terrible. 7.78 ERA, 1.78 WHIP in 2023 so far. So, Logan, why are you backing this guy? Well, I'm backing this guy because the line doesn't look right? How many times in baseball have I looked at a pitcher that struggled in the minors? They come in, their first few starts in the majors is actually pretty decent all the time. It happens all the time. It's just one of those things. If you bet baseball long enough, the line looks the way it does because obviously they're expecting him to actually have the advantage against Texas, even though the Rangers, 5th in batting average, 4th in OPS at home. They have a great offense at home, but Kaufman does have the advantage first times through the order because they don't have the familiarity with him. I've seen pitchers actually, making their first start do well because they have the advantage on their side. It's usually, later on. My philosophy with pitchers making their first start is it's okay to take a chance on them in the first start, right? It might blow up in my face. He might absolutely go out and host batting practice like Julio Urias did yesterday. But in their second or third start, that's usually when I don't back them. That's almost when I look to fade them because then the book's out on what the pitches they use and what their go-to. So in the first start, I feel comfortable backing him. Now, they have to give him run support. The Rockies have to give run support against Martin Perez, right? Perez, 4.25 ERA, 1.61 WHIP. I always put WHIP next to ERA because ERA can be deceiving, right? The WHIP is pretty high for Perez, which means I think we actually get some run opportunities. What does WHIP stand for? That's a walks, hits per inning pitched. It's a ratio. You want that number to be 1 or under 1 as possible. The fact that he's over 1.5 shows that he's navigated through some danger, right? He's coming off a game against the A's where he gave up 4 runs, 3 home runs allowed to the A's. I mean, come on, man. That's the Oakland Athletics. If the Oakland Athletics can get to Martin Perez, there's no reason the Colorado Rockies shouldn't. Now, the Colorado Rockies, not the most consistent offense at all. 21st in batting average, 25th in OPS versus lefties. And there's this fun narrative, and I love it, that the Rockies can't hit away from cores. And most of the time it is true. It is true this year, right? They're only hitting 228 away from Coors Field this year. So, I mean, it's so far so good. I mean, but does that mean that a team that bats terribly, on the road, bats terribly on the road every single game? No, because that's not how baseball works. Rockies will be without CJ Cron as well, yet the line still looks the way it does. CJ Cron's obviously their best hitter, and they're without him. So many of you people yesterday reminded Austin that the Guardians were without Jose Ramirez yesterday, and look, outright win. And it's just funny how baseball works like that. Now, where I really think the difference in this game is going to be is in the bullpen. Texas, 25th in bullpen ERA, Rockies 17th in bullpen ERA. The bullpen rotation is what was going to be the deciding factor in this one, because I doubt Colorado lets Kaufman go that deep. If he goes 5-6 innings pitched, I'd be pretty shocked, right? That's just what normally happens with a rookie pitcher, pitcher making his first start. The Rangers bullpen has choked so many leads for them this year. There will be run opportunities late, and I think that's why the line does look the way it does. Tell me you couldn't see, 7th, 8th inning Rangers being up 2, Rockies getting a solo blast or something. Tale as old as time. Bet baseball long enough, you would see it happen very often. So we're going to go ahead and ride with the Rockies in this one, plus 1.5. I am being sharp in this one. But Austin, give me another winner. What do you got for us?
Yeah, Logan, I think the last time you took the Rockies, you took them plus 1.5 against the Phillies on the road, and they got you an outright win. Hopefully they do that again today. But for my pick, I'm going to go to the Twins and Angels game, a late start. I'm taking the under, 8.5 runs in this one, minus 110 on DraftKings. I think this should be minus 110 on almost every single book, so you shouldn't really have to worry about it if it does go down to 8 or 9. I think it's going to kind of hover around at this 8.5 in the line. Now, I won't lie to you guys. No one really likes betting an under in a baseball game, and if you're watching it, can be pretty sweaty. But this is the 9:38 start, so if you're on the East Coast, good chance you probably don't have to sweat this one out a whole lot. At least, hopefully, if it maybe goes into the 6th, 7th inning with 5, 6, 7 runs, hopefully you're asleep by then, which I likely will be. But let's talk about exactly why I like this under one. And when we look at the line, it did open up at 7.5. We saw 77% of the bets right now are on the over 8.5. There's a reason it jumped up a little bit, but I just also think equally there's a reason they opened it at 7.5. Obviously, the books are going to adjust depending on how much money comes in on each side, but I still think that the reason it opened on 7.5 is because they were expecting a decent showing from both these pitchers in these two teams today. And we've seen both these offenses be complete no-shows before. We've seen the Twins put up goose eggs. We've seen the Angels put up goose eggs before. Look, I'm going to take the under here, and here's why. Now, the Angels returning off a 7-game road trip. Maybe they come in a little bit slow here. Then you got the Twins in the midst of a 6-game road trip. This will be the 4th game on that trip. And they're going to trot out their ace, arguably their best pitcher. Joe Ryan's going to be out there for him. And he's been great this year. 2.16 ERA, 0.84 whip. He's been really dialed in, and when we look at his percentiles, obviously the higher this number it is, the 100th percentile would be the best of the best, or 99th technically. You look at Ryan, 99th percentile in chase rate, 95th in walk percentage, 92nd in expected slugging, 85th in expected batting average. This guy's been really, really good this season. And you can get runs up on him. He'll sometimes give up those hard hits. And this is an Angels offense that I'm not going to come out here and say, you know what, Ryan? He's going to hold him scoreless for 6 innings. Likely not going to happen, but still, we've seen this Angels offense go hit or miss every single day, and I think Ryan's certainly capable of pitching a 0 earned run type performance, but we can afford, a couple earned runs in here because I think Ryan is going to be dialed in here. We look at his strikeout prop sitting at 6.5. They're clearly expecting a decent showing from Ryan. Now, on the other side, we'll read Detmers for the Los Angeles Angels. Now, Detmers isn't the best pitcher in the world. In fact, I would kind of say he's pretty average. I mean, 4.89 ERA and a 1.51 whip. There's nothing that, you're like, awesome, we want to take an under with this guy. But also you're not like hammering the overs like some people out there are. I mean, you look at his percentiles, 69th in K percentage, 66th in whiff percentage or whiff rate, and then 45th chase rate, 36th in expected batting average. Like I said, very mediocre guy. Now, what I do like is that he is a lefty, and this Twins team has really struggled versus lefties this season. 3rd worst batting average, 3rd worst on-base percentage, 3rd worst OPS versus left-handed pitchers this year. This is a team really struggling to see lefties. So could Detmers come out here? We've seen him give up 4 earned runs before, but could he come out here and maybe give us a 1 or 2 earned run type performance? Yes, potentially here. You look at his props. He's got his hits allowed props sitting at 4.5. This is a guy that's allowed 5 or more hits in 5 of his last 6 starts. Also, his strikeout prop sitting at 5.5, juiced on the over 2. So they're expecting him to get some Ks. This is the Twins offense that, like we've said, his team could score 11, 18 runs on one day. They could score 0 the next. This is a very inconsistent offense. I think the fact they opened this at 7.5, they think Detmers is going to perform pretty well. Now, when you get to the bullpens, both these bullpens, they're average. I mean, the Angels 8th lowest bullpen ERA in the league, Twins 12th lowest. I don't really think their bullpens are elite by any stretch of the imagination. They're also not like the Oakland Athletics bullpen where there's 3 base runners every inning and you're just hoping and praying that they get out of a bases loaded jam. I think these bullpens are both decent enough. Maybe I wouldn't surprise if maybe Ryan and Detmers give up some runs early on in this game, and then maybe we see the bullpens come in, dial in, keep the runs down, and we see this one finish closer to 6 or 7 runs. So I think this is a good spot for Detmers and Ryan to go deep into this game, or just at least limit the damage. I think it's certainly capable. It opened up at 7.5 for a reason. We're getting 8.5 because the public hammered it over. I'll take this one. Twins, Angels. Give me the under 8.5 runs. I know it's going to be probably sweaty, but give me the under. Now, Logan, I reckon you know what time it is. The music is started now. We're getting at the flags. Yeah, we're flying these bad boys. We didn't get to fly them yesterday. We gave out a lean, but as we said, the lean we didn't really like, which is why we didn't take one. In fact, I think out of the 6 or 7 games, there was only one Nrfi yesterday. And it did involve the team that we will be taking today, because we're going to the Marlins and Giants game, taking the no-run first inning, currently minus 125 on BetMGM. Now, if you're on FanDuel, please don't take it there. I mean, they're at minus 154. Don't lay a juice Nrfi like that. And while we said we don't really want to take juice Nrfis, we really like this one here. I think this got a good chance today. And like I said, if you want to check out our 2 other leans, they're in our parlay of the day, dimers.com/COS or something along those lines. It's a top link in the description. Go check it out. You can see which other 2 Nrfis we like, and both of those aren't going to be juiced as this one. Now let's talk about who's going to start this game off. It's going to be Anthony Desclafani of the Giants, and he's been 6-2 on no on first innings. A couple starts ago, he gave up like 5 or 6 earned runs to the Washington Nationals in the first inning, but he's been large in part pretty good this year. He is a righty. The Marlins, as we talked about, really struggling versus righties this year, and they're 28th in first inning runs. I'm confident Desclafani can get us those first 3 outs. Tell me the other guy's decent, Logan. I heard he's okay.
Yeah, his name's Sandy Alcantara. Ever heard of him? He is the Nrfi king, right? He would be the best Nrfi pitcher, best option if we could, build our perfect Nrfi, right? Sandy, 8-0 on Nrfis this year. Knock on wood. You have to give up the first inning run. You like to see that against the Giants team that has, definitely scored in the first inning, 7th and first inning runs. Can Sandy navigate his way through a pretty talented top half the lineup with the Giants? I do think so. Sandy, obviously one of the best pitchers in baseball at the first time through the order, especially. He's good at inducing ground balls and just getting out of jams. It's what he does, right? The over-under sets 7.5, right in the range we do like to pick him. I think this one stands a really good chance of cashing. I mean, it simply has to. Sandy, an ally of Nrfi Nation. You never heard us.
You're dang right about that one, Logan. We're flying these flags with the people today. I'm feeling good about the slate. At least the 2-1 day on the way. Hopefully a 3-0 day, and hopefully we can cash that parlay of the day. Top link in the description. Go check it out. I'll also put the link up on the screen. If you just want to click it, it's right, I think, right next to my face. Go click that. Check out the parlay of the day. If you want to check out at UniBet and you're in New Jersey, check out that offer down below in the description. I'm Austin Logan. We're signing out. I'll see you guys back again tomorrow. Peace.